Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid with a 1v1 multiplayer game for you. I'm on Eden Lake, and I've been using allies today and yesterday for a few games. But for this game, I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine, because I don't want to get out of practice with my favourite faction, so I do need to put a game in now and then with my favourites. Eden Lake, I do like this map. You know, it's a good, and I like how the ore fields are spread out and positioned. I like it. There's a lot of places to gather ore from, and a lot of different angles you can set up your structures and things. You can set up defensively and use the terrain if you have to, if you're on the back foot. Obviously, it's always best to position yourself forward of ore patches, but if you are struggling and on the defensive, this map does have some features that'll work in your favour if you're struggling. And my opponent took the central oil derrick, and I lost a couple of soldiers and decided to fall back because I built my engineer first, so I lost 2 riflemen and fell back. I didn't want to push it if he'd got there first, so I decided to take this oil derrick and my hospital. So my opponent has 2 oil derricks in a hospital, I have 1. Our army values are identical at this moment, but my opponent has killed a couple more rifles of mine because I did go to scout his base. So I've spotted that he's got power plants and that immediately put me, put a Grendrops in my mind, made me think of a Grendrop. So I've got this small starting army. My opponent is very slightly behind, not by much. He maybe not got his first vehicle, I don't know. But I've got this small starting army, but I am thinking of a Grendrop at this point. My opponent's capturing that. I didn't notice. I could have. That's why I put him there, so he could have tried to snipe. In fact, there's 3 men that they could definitely have killed that engineer if I'd have seen him. So that's a shame, but I'm placing rifles to warn me of enemy attack because I only built 2 refineries for this build. I wanted to build an early radar dome. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't really have messed about like that. I wanted to get some tech early, but I think it led to me being a bit hard up for cash, to be fair. I've got very few assets in my base. Look, there's a rifleman stood there. I've got very few assets in my base. I've just placed that. So, yeah, it just didn't work out this time. But I've got a Grendrop here. And I was caught out with this small starting force. So my opponent's caught me there. He's more than double the army value now than what I've got, so I'm in a bad situation, but I'm having to expand. I've got to keep the cash going, and I'm really hard up for cash. I was struggling. But I've got this here, this is little Grendrops here waiting for the right moment. Yeah, look, I've got no money. So I'm really struggling here. My opponent's not attacking yet, but here we go. Here's the Grendrop. So I've got 5 Grenadiers, and 4 of them kill a power plant with 2 throws. So the 5th one is wasted attacking a power plant. So while the APC screens them, the 5th Grenadier is attacking the service depot. There's no point wasting the 5th grenade on 3 power plants. That would be 6 grenade throws wasted if the 5th man joined the 4 in attacking the power plant. So by breaking off the 5th Grenadier and attacking something else, you're making use of his damage. I lost them trying to escape, but I took out his power and his service depot, so I'm happy with that. Now he's attacking here, and I let him take out an ore truck, look, before I got away. But I'm on the defensive, but I'm comfortable here. I know I can stop him, and I know he's taken a hit to his power and his production because he's got no service depot. I should maybe have capitalised and changed my plan from tech to making another war factory. If I had made a second war factory instead of a radar dome, it would have gone hand in hand with that Grendrop. In fact, that might be a useful tactic to try in future. If I do a Grendrop and it's successful, you know, a second war factory can be a worthwhile investment, actually. You see, I'm recovering cash slowly, but I'm not very well off, and he's targeting my my ore trucks, so he's chosen the smart thing. But I know because of my rifle scout that he's got units here, so I've decided to attack there rather than send my army against his army. But he's caught me out here. Look, I've lost an ore truck. Let's see if he's going to go straight back to his death. Yeah, sadly. I thought I'd saved them, but maybe that was later. Oh well. Need to look at my opponent's recovered power, army value. It's 20,000 to my 13,000, so that's not good. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm assuming that's it. Yeah, another ore truck gone. That was a waste. But I'm reacting now and defending here. So rather than just send these units against him, I've decided to group up worthwhile defence before taking him on. But I'm attacking here because I thought his army's out of place. I thought it was over here and then doing something else, trying to find mine, because he knew mine was in the centre, attacking his oil. So I thought that's why I changed position immediately and withdrew from the centre. I thought, I'll hit him here, it looks undefended. I should have just wiped that and ignored that, because it stretched out my units, look. Sometimes it's difficult. He's caught another ore truck, very nice. But sometimes it's difficult choosing targets when you've got multiple targets. Multiple options. But yeah, my V2s, they're running. I know the enemy's coming, but I decide to move this way instead, because these guys are following, and they're kind of out of the battle at this point, so I'm hitting him here, taking out some of his ore trucks, but he's got a force here that... Look, I'm prepared for it, just these units should be positioned better. But he can also take out my ore trucks from that position, very nice. It's a good way to do it. If he hasn't got time to pay attention there, at least position them in a way where my stuff's going to blunder into them. Oh, and I wasted these units. That's a shame. I meant to send them and do a bit of spotting for a V2, but it didn't work. It's left me completely vulnerable here. And then I decided to make a stand and take on these units following me, try and take them out piecemeal, and it didn't work. I ended up being attacked from two sides, so that didn't work out. And now at this point I'm really realising that kind of like you've blown it. You know, that this is the point where it dawned on me about what I'd done, because I'm looking at burning ore trucks. And the enemy's attacking, and now I've got nothing. My army's down to 4 grand, but this here, but... and then I decide to make use of it, rather than going on the defensive. I thought, no, I can't just sit back, I've got to do something. So I decide to try and find a vulnerable eco patch where he's got an expansion, a vulnerable expansion or something, and he does manage to catch me out by the looks of that lot. My V2's trailing behind. And if it's on attack move, it'll stop and attack that, so that's just not good. Yeah, lost my V2. And then these guys get caught. Now, I realise the situation, that they've been, you know, caught out, and they're running, but... yeah. I'm stuck. My money situation just was never quite right. I didn't make the right choice in going for the radar dome. I shouldn't have done. I should have used my standard build with 3 refineries, because I didn't end up making use of the tech in a way that made it worth altering the standard build order. It wasn't worth it. I didn't do enough damage to make it worth it, and it just meant that my money situation was never quite right. I didn't have enough to fuel the war machine I'd normally build, and I'd normally be able to build. So it was a real shame, that, and it led to the result that we saw, where I was on the attack and attacking, trying to, and it just all fell apart all of a sudden. And I've captured that, and the engineer's running away, because I had a feeling he's coming. But it all fell apart all of a sudden, and I knew it at that point. I mentioned a short while ago, I knew I'd blown it. But I'm going to send this tank to look for a vulnerable ore truck. I've got some base defences here and here. It's not too bad, and I thought, I know where the enemy is because I can see him here because of the oil derrick. So I'll send this to double back behind them, and then they won't think I'm here. Or here, they're not likely to assume I'm there. It might be one of the later places they check. So I thought, that's why I'll go there. And I sent this tank here to go on an eco raid, because I thought he's not going to expect it. He thinks he's won. So just continue and see what you can do and what you can learn. And he has realised what's going on. He's moved them away. So now he's dealt with that. Now I've got a tank here seeing what's going on and going on an eco raid. Now there's nothing there to stop that tank either. I should have done this 15 minutes ago. Well, not 15. It's not even been 15 minutes, but it seems like it. But I should have done it 5 minutes ago and kept some units for a main army and just separated small forces. I didn't do that. My opponent took out my ore trucks really nicely. I've got nothing. Look, I've got none. I've got this one up here. I've got 2 in total. This one's dodged the enemy, so I've got 2 ore trucks in total. So yeah, he took out my ore trucks really well, and with my attack, just my army falling apart all of a sudden, it was like too much, and I couldn't recover. And the early Gren drop that did damage took out his power and his service depot. I suppose that just kind of kept me in it for a little bit and meant that my early lack of money and units and stuff was kind of covered by the fact that I did that. So that made me think that maybe a double war factory build and a Gren drop is useful. If you can get an early Gren drop in that works really, really well, then maybe get working on a second war factory early. But yeah, I'm building here, but it's clear to me that it's over by this point, sadly. My opponent's everywhere. He's got tech. His army, what, 33 grand for a guess? A 41 grand army. So yeah, it's a good one. But yeah, that was it. It was well and truly over. He's got V2s here, aircraft, tanks. My thieves tried over here, but I had no hope. No hope. He was on the ball before my thief got there, and he built a flame tower and stopped it anyway. So yeah, it was a sound defeat, sadly, but I wanted to post it because it's like a fairly decent game for some entertaining content for my viewers, so I thought I'd post it anyway. And the army graph here, if I disable the shroud, you can see there, look, where mine is here, the green one, and it peaks a bit, but that's the point where combat starts, and my opponent's army continues to grow, takes a few losses, and then increases to this massive army that he's got, whereas mine has a massive drop-off. That's the point, obviously, where I realised I'd blown it. And I've got nothing left, and my ore trucks had been taken with it by the enemy. So that was it. That was the moment. It all went wrong. There's the earnings graph. My opponent had a nice earnings spike there, look. At just before 7 minutes. I did have some extra earnings at about 9 minutes. Bit of an earnings spike. But it couldn't sustain what I needed. All the extra units and stuff I needed. As my opponent's finishing army is a good one, a good-sized army, very convincing win. There's the combat graph, 135 kills to 192, and the amount destroyed is like 39 to 60, so it's, you know, he's way ahead. He's lost 40 to 60, so yeah, it was a convincing defeat. My opponent's got support powers on the go, because he was Ukraine. He's got parabombs, paratroopers, and spy plane ready. Still producing. There's the economy. We've both got 2,100 each, but that was no good to me at that point, and I'd earned quite a lot less, and I've spent a lot less as well. That's not good. I knew I'd made a mistake by going for the radar dome. I shouldn't have done that. Not at this point. I haven't been using Russia as much lately. I shouldn't have done that. But there's the basic chart. My actions per minute were low. Look at 26. That's lower than ever. My opponent was 63, so he was sharp on the ball and issuing lots of orders. But there's all these stats and graphs. So I hope you enjoyed the game. For now, I'll say goodbye and thanks for watching. And until next time, viewers, thank you very much.
Battle control terminated.